Hello everybody and welcome to the Euro Titans Championship here at the Temple of Speed, the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, and we're here for round 8 of the championship as things continue to get hotter and hotter, deeper into this series, and the Bunga Racing team are losing some challenges really for that top position of the championship. They are seemingly running away with it at the moment as they do have a nice healthy lead over the next set of competitors, and not only that, it has been further helped for their cause at least by the fact that we have had two teams drop out. We've had NLR and unfortunately they were very much the closest competitors to the Bunga Racing team. And I'm trying to remember the other one. I believe it was FRT have also dropped out. Let me confirm that just to be absolutely certain. It was FRC, apologies. FRT firmly still in this thing. Yeah, they should be. Absolutely. They were here last week, of course, and I believe it was Dan on that occasion did very well, but I don't think they've got a field of drivers tonight, so missing FRT this evening, but nonetheless they are still part of this championship, and we do say goodbye unfortunately to FRC and NLR, and we do say hello to ATX, Artifacts Sim Racing, and we also say hello to IRS, the Inter Racing Series racing team. I'm just going to leave it as IRS, I think. Otherwise we'll get too complicated and everything such as that. But they will, of course, jump into their respective teams, which are Red Bull and Williams. And hopefully we'll see some good close on-track action from the pair of them. But as we can see here, the time's starting to tumble in. And BRT firmly placing themselves towards the sharp end of things. Aiden there setting the provisional pole at 1:18.6, and he does so by a good 3/10 over ABS's driver Paul at the moment. ABS coming off of a pretty good result last week, I believe. God, I really should have had my facts all straight and ready before I began this, but it was NLR actually who took the win last week, so their final race in the series, and they did take the win away as well. And then I believe the runner-up was one of the AMS drivers. I will certainly check my facts, so I can't give out false information like this. Yeah, look at that, it's wrong. It was ABS. It was ABS, so I am right. I'm on the money. It was Crisis that came second on that occasion last time, and the Flying Finn of Polkis for NLR did take the final win for them. And also the win in Imola last time out, but it doesn't matter because we're here in Monza. One of the pinnacles of motorsport is this circuit, and is also, I would consider, one of the pinnacle tracks on the calendar. It's certainly one of the oldest, if not the oldest, you would argue. Been on the calendar here every single year since the inauguration. Whoa, that's the Red Bull getting all squirrely out of the second Lesmo, and he's now facing the wrong way. That's it, staying nicely out of the way. I would have liked to have seen him maybe just hold the brake, but no incidents is caused, and Jordan there going to have to go around, start again. You can go back onto the track. Oh yeah, oh okay, he's letting someone by, fine. Oh, fair enough then. Sensible racing there from Jordan, but yeah, big mistake for the new Red Bull team. So he'll obviously make his way back round, put on a new set of tyres, and get ready to fire the engine up and go around once again. I'll tell you what then, well, who's on a lap now? Who's just started a lap? Tyler, here we go, he's just started a lap. So he'll make his way down to the first chicane. Very heavy braking zone is this. And he's taking it leisurely. Never mind. I think maybe he just finished his lap instead. Oh, who have we got on a lap coming up? I think the Ferrari there. Justin, yeah, he's just making his way through Ascari now, but he is on his outlet, battery fully charged there, and I have got the telemetry for you guys now, much to everybody wanting the extra information that it does give you, so I have given in, and you guys can all get the extra bit of telemetry to help you lot out. Here we go then, riding on board with Justin for Ferrari, for ABS. And he's going to start his first flying run by the looks of things. Yeah, 0 laps set, but I think that's just this compound of tyre. But there's his teammate. Maybe he'll give him a tow on the next lap by if he sticks close enough to him through the first chicane. That looks pretty neat and tidy for the time being. And he'll now make his way through the curver. I've forgotten the name of it. It's really terrible, isn't it? Oh dear. Anyway, up towards the second chicane nonetheless. Another tricky braking zone to get right. He looks as though he's done that very neat and tidy as well. In towards the Lesmos. How's this looking for him? Tucks them in nice and neatly. Clips the apexes. Uses all the runoff. That looks pretty good so far. Into the second. Yeah, once again, very neat and tidy. This is looking actually quite quick from Justin at the moment. DRS open on the back of the car there. That'll give him an extra boost of speed down towards Ascari. This one can be quite tricky. Used all the entry curve that he dared there. Oh, look at that. That's fantastic to watch. Made his way through, down towards Parabolica, final corner. One corner left to nail. And I'll tell you what, this is looking like an absolute flyer. Up towards the line. What's this time going to be? I think this could be really good. It was really good. Look at that. Puts it into second. 1:18.7. Currently P2 on the road. Provisionally, of course. But that was a fantastic lap. Great. We got to watch it on board through its entirety as well. Good lap there for Justin. Hugo set a brilliant lap as well for CPI. First time out here for Hugo this evening, as he looks to help his team in that championship fight. I believe they're currently sitting third, or it will be now third. Obviously one of the teams leaving. And Tonio Wright for FGE in that McLaren. He's done a pretty good representative there. 18.8 currently sits in P5. I do expect qualifying to be fairly close between all of the drivers, as it is one of those circuits. There's not many corners to mess up on, but equally that does mean you have to nail every single one of them to be within a shout, because the error for margin is so narrow. On board here then with Skies for IRS. Obviously, you know, the IRS boys here for Williams and the Red Bulls. They're all on their first outing this evening to see what they can do for their team. Hopefully going to get a good representation of what they are able to do. This guy's firing it down the back straight towards Parabolica. He's got no battery left. I think this is an off lap. Yeah, it absolutely is. He's not going to get there in time for a good run of it. That's all right. I think it probably was his in-lap that we were focused on at that point. That looks like a quick car going through there. Which Haas was that? Because both of them are actually provisional 1 and 2. It's Aiden. He was firing down towards Ascari under the bridge. And now making it towards the Parabolica. Still provisional pole for the time being. His teammate tucked up just behind him. And we currently have a BRT 1-2. As we get into the latter stages of qualifying here. He's improved once again, an 18.3. My word, that man is quick. 3 tenths quicker than his teammate and 4 tenths quicker than anybody else. 5 minutes to go though. There's still a chance to come around, put on a new set and come back into the pits. But my word, he has absolutely set the benchmark. That's going to be very tough to beat in my opinion. On board with Brent, he'll be looking to make an improvement from last time out for FGE. I don't think Imola was too kind to him last week, so he'll be looking to make an improvement for not only himself, bit of a self-esteem boost, but of course his team as well. Lost the rear just on the exit of the first Lesmo, just a little bit there. Takes the second one rather nicely. He's going to try and steal as much slipstream as he can from the Haas, before he has to, of course, pass for the lap. In towards Ascari. Easy corner to cut that first left flick of the left. And then once you've got that all hooked up, the rest follows on nice and easy, in my opinion. Past the Alpine, down towards Parabolica. Through the corner. Tricky right-hander this. You really do need to nail it. And then really pick your acceleration zone to get the best exit possible when you come straight into the pits. So that's not a lap that he was looking for anyway, so never mind. I think everyone making their way back now. The last few guys out on the track for the moment, obviously making their way back too, as we get ready to go for the final shootout. This is what qualifying really does come down to. Of course, if you get a good provisional time in, such as what Aiden has done, it definitely helps you out some. That if you do mess up your final flying run, you've still got a good chance of finishing well. But for the time being, it does all come down to this. But BRT firmly at the top as Matteo comes out and he's looking to improve on his time. And of course, if he can get one over on his teammate, that's a big nod to him. He'll be very happy with that if he can manage it. Big ask though. As I say, it is 3 temps between the two of them. So he's going to have to put in the work. Look at that, trying to burn off as much fuel as possible. every hundredth of a second is valuable and key. Every thousandth even is absolutely valuable here. So much so they're really trying to burn it off and rev the car to its absolute ragged edge. I've not seen that before. It really is. When you get to the top and the pinnacle, you have every bit counts, doesn't it? I wonder, is he going to be the first one to start their final flying? We've got the Aston Martin there behind, absolutely flying. Nope, he's going to go past and take that. So I think then we'll switch to Kieran, as he's going to be the first man to start his final flying run. Of course, he could get back around and go again, but I think the track lends itself that you get one run at it, because after that your tyres are not going to be at their best. But I think it's more that the battery becomes a bigger issue than anything else. But through Parabolica he goes, and he's going to start his final flying run here, as the rest of them will also do the same. There you go, DRS in activation, giving him that little flap in the rear wing, opens up, gives him an extra boost of speed. I think it normally equates to about 12 kilometers an hour. The only thing I would say, he's going to have some traffic to make his way through, is Kieran. But I think he'll handle it quite easily. Not Imola, apologies. Here in Monza, it does seem to be fairly easy to navigate traffic. It's a nice wide circuit, and of course there is only a few corners really where you can get in the way. And if you're good at spotting cars coming up behind you, it doesn't tend to cause too much of an issue. But I think a lot of them are really just going for it already, so he should be fine. Although it looks as though he's backed off, so never mind. Looks as though he's backed off. He might try and set up and go again. We'll see what Matteo is going to do through the second Lesmo. He's going to get a little bit of a tow there from the Williams, not as much as he would have liked though, of course. Maybe he can get a cheeky one off the Alpine. No, not quite. He's going to stick to the racing line, which is fair enough to him. 7.5 hundredths down on his best lap time, so he's going to have to try and make up 3 tenths in one corner pretty much. Although Ascari does count as well, of course, but it's a very short final sector. But they're all, of course, incredibly quick, so it's very hard to find some time. Look at that, cutting that as much as he can. A very small improvement nonetheless. Still only good enough for second place at the moment. We're about to get a flurry of action. Here comes one of the Williams. Sky, he's up on his time as well. Is it going to be an improvement? It's not quite. Who's that just crossing the line? I didn't quite see. His teammate now over the line. IRS Theo. I think he's actually starting his final fly run. So now we're going to get people that actually have finished qualifying. Liam Hardman into the pits. 11th is all he can muster for the time being, providing no one else improves. We'll see what Brent's got up his sleeve as we wait for the next flurry of cars and action to head down towards that checkered flag. Here comes one of the Red Bulls over the line. Which one is it? It's Jordan. And no, it's not. Apologies. It was Thursey. He jumps up to 9th position. Tyler 15th. Next Red Bull to cross the line is going to be Arnold. Where's that put him? He jumps up 9th. Just pips his teammate. There goes one of the Ferraris. Justin. He's going to have to settle for 3rd. Here comes the next Ferrari. Paul goes to 2nd. Just pips the BRT man of Matteo. Hugo 4th. That's a good qualifier from him. Where did Brent ended up? He ended up 9th instead. His teammate, he now goes 2nd fastest. My word, that gap is closing to Aiden. Has anyone got any more improvements in them? Not quite sure. We'll follow on board here with Napple as he gets up towards the line. What can he do? Is at 18.5 good enough for P3 at the moment? That's a good lap from him as well. And we just wait for the last cars. Matteo not on a lap. Sky's into the pits, so that is qualifying. Is Aiden on a lap? No, he's not. He doesn't need to do the lap anyway, as no one will be improving. So there's qualifying for you folks. BRT Aiden taking a big pole position and took it by some margin as well. That's a hard ask, I can tell you now. It's not easy to find that time around a lap here, especially such a big gap as that here in Monza. Temple of Speed, as I say, very tricky to find some lap time. So what a big pole position that is. But more importantly, BRT at the sharp end of things once again, as you very much expect them to be. But brilliant lap there from Tonio in the McLaren. FGE going to be happy with that, as well as Napple for Alpine. And CPI, that's good for third. Ferrari of Paul, he'll have to settle for fourth. Matteo fifth. Hugo sixth. Justin, after a fantastic lap to begin with, finishes seventh. Look at that. Look at the gaps there. You wouldn't have thought it. Oh, hang on. He's had a grid penalty. I wonder if that's... Oh, maybe we have a lobby restart. I don't know if that's legit. Either way, Theo is 8th. Sky is 9th. Pretty good start there for Williams and IRS. Brent 10th. Jordan... Oh, God, 11th. I was trying to get all the words out. But the Red Bulls came next. And... that's ATX or Artifex Sim Racing. I'm sure they'll be pretty happy with that. We can finish off, have a quick look at the race director here. Where did they all finish off? Then we had... Oh, Justin actually got his penalty now applied. So he's now down to 12th. In fact, I bet he's not going to be happy with whatever happened there. Well, either way then, 12th then is Justin. And everyone will move up one that I missed before. Then we've got Liam Hardman for... TIR, Kieran there for AMS, Tyler 15th, Sornick and Partick both serving their qualifying bands, so they will start 16th and 17th for the race to come shortly. As I was saying earlier, Monza, Temple of Speed, 80% of the lap is at full throttle, and it absolutely shows, of course. But we do have only 11 corners here this evening, 7 to the right, 4 to the left, but 2 nice DRS zones to help get some overtaking done. But I'm sure we will see those trains forming up, and it very much is important to stick within the guy's DRS ahead of you, so within that 1 second window, because as soon as you lose it, you're done for at this Grand Prix. It's very, very cutthroat. Once you do lose the DRS, it is so vital you get it back immediately within the next corner or two, or it's pretty much gone forever. So tricky conditions to race under. Very strategic this could become once we get to the pit stop phase. But it is 5.79 kilometers or 3.6 miles, and of course the track is named after the city of where it is, and it's just north of Milan in Italy. But it's a one-stop strategy today, and you lose roughly 19 seconds in the pits themselves. But I think for pit strategy, as I say, the one stop, and I think for here, you can do a big number of different things. You can go soft to mediums or the other way round. And of course you can go, soft to hards or medium to hards. Of course, all these tyre combinations, you can do whatever race you want. But the key difference here is each strategy is only sort of a 1 second difference between the strategies. So it doesn't matter actually too much what you do. But either way, the lights are on, the grid's formed, and they're about to go out. And we're going to get under racing here for the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. I'll quickly get everything set how we like. And there they go. Napple getting a good start up into second place immediately. Tonio Wright having to settle for third. BRT Aiden got a good start. No, there's been tagged from behind. Matteo tagged Napple. He's managed to get away with it, but it does mean Tonio is back through. And now they make their way through the curva. I believe it's the Curva Grande towards the second chicane. Napple going to go try round the outside. I think he's managed to do so as well quite nicely and takes back second place. Justin managed to make up quite a good number of positions there at the beginning. He's up into 8th place already. Matteo, he's dropping down the field, currently sitting 11th position, still under threat of course. It is early days, they're just trying to find their feet. 27 laps of this, remember guys, there's still a fair way to go, but those laps do come thick and fast as we go deeper into the Grand Prix. Is that a move by the Red Bull? I think it was Matteo getting the position back from him, round the outside towards Ascari. There's a big snap of oversteer there. He's definitely had to take over the gravel trap, has Matteo, but he's now going to lose even more positions down towards Parabolica. I believe the Red Bull, they're almost blocking. I think actually he's got away with that somehow, has Matteo. He still holds on to 10th position for the time being. Very lucky man indeed, but quite rightfully, Aiden sets the fastest lap, but here comes a move for the lead already. Napple up the inside in towards turn 1. They're going to go side by side. Yes, they are. Aiden still has that inside line. Forces Napple almost a little bit wide. Just about keeps it within the rules. And they just about had enough room. Napple going to try it again. Round the outside of the Curva Grande. Up towards the second chicane. Who's going to be late on the brakes? I don't think it matters because Napple sweeps to the racing line because the move has already been done. Napple is now your leader in this Grand Prix. It's only lap 2. We've still got a long way to go. Antonio Wright for FGE, he's sniffing an opportunity and a chance now. Aiden under threat from behind. He's just lost the lead. He doesn't want to lose another position in succession that quickly. Antonio filling the mirrors up of that Haas driver, making sure he is aware that he is there. But I wonder, was Aiden, I think looking at the tyre strategy, I think he is on the hard, the only one to do so at this point of the Grand Prix. Most of the top half of the grid here on that medium compounded tyre, so we can see the splits there between all of the drivers, and well, they're definitely putting that softer compound to good use. IRS Theo makes a position up, and he's now immediately going to go for the podium positions. Oh, Antonio, I think his teammates trying to follow him through. The Ferrari having none of it. They're going to go side by side into the chicane. They just about leave each other enough room. He's now going to be on the outside, but I think the McLaren just had the enough grip to keep that position for the time being. I think Aiden maybe going to line up another move. Not quite this time. Settles in, still behind Napple for the moment. But you can see here the train already forming. DRS going to be in activation now. So maybe we'll see a few more overtakes. But of course, you know, the guy in front, if he's got the DRS from the guy in front of him, he's then got it to defend as well. So this is what we're talking about. It's very crucial to stick in one of these trains, but it does become almost impossible to overtake unless you really have set the car up with as low a downforce as you can. And of course, for this circuit, you absolutely want to do that because it is the Temple of Speed. You will be going as fast as possible for as long as possible. But it does mean then everyone else is doing the same, so it's very tricky to overtake around this circuit. But I think, is that IRS Sky trying to make a move into Parabolica? You don't often see it there very much, but he's definitely got it done. He moves up into the podium spot, takes third position away as we begin lap 4. And now you can see the DRS really coming into full effect, as that looks to be a move for the lead. Not quite at the moment, but Tonio's going to come back at Theo. Round the outside then, after having the inside line to begin with. That gives Paul the opportunity out of the first chicane. Has he got a good exit, good enough to get alongside the McLaren? Not quite at the moment, still following single file. McLaren, he's just pulling out the slipstream there, he's just having a little look, making sure that Theo is still paying attention. As the Ferrari getting very feisty now. Paul looking to maybe make a move on that McLaren into the Lesmo. Thought better of it. You don't normally get a move done there unless there really is a big speed deficit. But you can see there is a gap that has formed. It's off the back of that McLaren in 10th. That's Brent. 2.3 seconds, and you can bet that that's going to be incredibly hard to close that gap back up, if it could be indeed closed at all. You know, almost impossible. You probably see that would just steadily increase as time goes on, Crucially though, Matteo there, he's just dropped out of that second window. That's losing him the DRS to the next guy in front. I wonder, can he get just back within it? And then hopefully keep going as that. Is that going to cause a safety car? That's Sornick into the wall. He's retired. It looks as though he has had an incident and retired. We're under yellow flag in this final / beginning of third sector. No safety car. We're still green racing. Good news for us, bad news for the guys at the back, especially Tyler. He's some 12 seconds off everybody else. That's not what he wants, obviously, this evening, but you can see there, that gap, Furzy has gotten past Brent, but you can see the gap has been increasing all the time. Matteo did manage to get in that DRS training once again. I think Jordan Arnold managed to actually get past him to do so. But they are still within the train, which is good news for those guys, as they will not want to drop off it, as I say. Quick battery check for everybody. Come on, engineers, get your money's worth. We're doing a battery check. I have got the tyres on. Front two managing to save their battery well, actually, looking at that. Guys behind maybe struggling to keep up a little bit more. Or maybe they've just used it rather aggressively at the beginning here. That remains to be seen. Has he got a yellow fuel gauge there? Has Matteo underfueled the car? He may well have done. Interesting. Sorry to flick through the screens here a bit. I'll jump back to some action as Justin going around the outside in the first chicane. Had that inside line. Sky's managed to hold him off for the time being. And now this gives a chance to the car behind. That's Jordan for the Red Bull. As he now looks to maybe get alongside that Ferrari in towards the second chicane. Will he go late on the brakes? No, he does not. He still slots in behind for the moment. As Sky has actually dropped out of that second window, he'll do well to get back in. He does so very nicely indeed. He will pick up obviously a bit of slipstream if he does fall out of that window, but of course he does not want to do that at any point because it is dangerous and deadly. Look at that, battery almost gone. Pretty much is. He's going to have that red light flashing. He's very much going to be under pressure from the guys behind. They'll see that flashing in their car and they realise then that, you know, he's going to be under threat. He's going to be down on power and that's their chance to pounce. I'm sure Justin looking at that, licking his lips, waiting to taste the salty snack in front of him. Through goes the field on to lap number 7, 20 remaining. DRS in activation, and this should be a very simple pass for the Ferrari driver. He'll get ahead of Skies and behind his teammate for P6. As have we had, is that someone in the pits? We've got a McLaren going very slowly at the back there. We've had all sorts of things moving up and down. That's Liam Hardman. There's something happened there into the first chicane, is there not? I think there is not. I think we may have just had a few moves into that first chicane. Didn't quite see all the action going on, but they are fighting quite hard here at the back of the grid, or towards the back of the grid I should say. Side by side into the second chicane, there goes Kieran and Liam Hardman. TIR AMS drivers fighting each other, hammer and tong, into the Lesmos. And these guys towards the back of the grid have got that harder compounder tyre on. So maybe watch out for these guys because they may get the overcut on some of the people further up. But you normally do favour an undercut at every circuit in this game, unfortunately. It doesn't leave much of an open door for strategists, as it very much does end up being the same or very similar strategy for everybody. But I have noticed, I just realised, IRS Theo, he's managed to make his way into second position. He's now going to maybe make a move for the lead. DRS in activation, uses the battery a little bit, pulls alongside, pulls ahead into the braking zone of turn 1, and he takes the lead of this Grand Prix. There we are, we've got a new leader then, come lap 8, IRS Theo. First race for IRS here in the ETC, and he's leading this Grand Prix. So good start from that man in Williams. I believe he started a bit further down the order as well. So he's doing incredibly well thus far. BRT Aiden maybe wanting to look a move into the first Lesmo. Does he have a look at it? He had a look, didn't go for it. I think he thought better of it as well. Didn't want to lose too much time. Well, right on board here then with Tonio. He's got a brilliant view of this battle up front. DRS now in activation as Jordan Arnold picks up a free second time penalty. And no, he hasn't got the speed to do it, has Aiden. He still sits in P3 for the time being. Have had a move further down. Oh, they're side by side through Ascari. They touch. There goes the Red Bull off and he's round. That was some wheel to wheel banging. And the Red Bull has come off worse for it. He's now down 14th. We've run the yellow there. But I don't we're not going to get a safety car. There was no damage caused to the Red Bull driver. So he'll be happy with that at least. He's not completely out of this race. But he is out of the points, of course, as we have had just there a move for the lead. Napple takes it back from Theo. And he will continue being the leader then on lap 9. Theo taking an incredibly wide line there through the Curva Grande. I wonder if that's a certain strategy he's going for. Maybe he doesn't want to make the move back right away. So takes the longer line perhaps to slow down or add a bit of time to his lap. But I have noticed that IRS Sky has dropped way off the back of this now. There's a 3-second gap there between Justin and Sky. So this front train, comprised of 6 cars, is very much the battle for the lead. As is that Teo going for a move? He is. He's going to have a look at it. No, he thinks better of it. Pulls back into the slipstream before we get to Ascari. And so for the time being, we'll sit in second, but the 2 Ferraris there at the back, Paul and Justin, getting pretty feisty by the looks of it. Both got different tiring strategies here. That's going to be handy news for them, though, when we do get to the pit stop phase, as they will not be wanting to pit on the same lap. So that is good news for them, really, if they are racing like this so closely together. Justin going to make a move on Paul, as there also is another move for the lead. Theo takes it back from Napple once again. BRT Aiden quite happy in 3rd, and I think Tonio's happy in 4th for the time being. Had a move further down here. That's Hugo maybe being passed by Furzy. I can't quite tell. Side by side into turn 1. Furzy's going to come out on top for the Red Bull. Hugo relegated to 10th. And Partick in 11th. Maybe trying to seize an opportunity if one should open itself up to him. Into the second chicane they go. Still following single file for the time being. You see Kieran there following Liam Harben in the background. Gaps beginning to form up and down the grid a little bit now, as Matteo he's dragging along Skies, but he's desperately trying to get back within that front pack if he can. Got almost literally no battery left, so I don't think he's going to be able to do it. These two need to work together really in order to have a chance at even getting back up to that front grid, or that front pack I should say. You can see there Theo having to use a bit of his battery as the guys behind are able to save. But DRS now in activation down the start straight. Start of lap 11 we go. And there goes Napple for the lead of this Grand Prix again. They're going to be trading places back and forth, I'm sure, pretty much up until the pit stop phase. Make sure you don't hit anybody, lads. Incredibly close into the braking zones. I don't know how they managed to stick it so close and not touch. It's absolutely incredible to watch. Hugo taking that position though. He makes his way back up to 9th. And Matteo and Skies have swapped places. And I wonder if they must be trying to work together as best they can. The gap 2.8 seconds, so it has increased by a couple of tenths just in that first sector alone pretty much. But that could also be the fact that they are trying to race and overtake each other. But doing so, trying to obviously gain back on the guys ahead. Very tricky to do, as I say. It is, as soon as you lose that DRS zone, that little bubble behind the guy in front, it is pretty much impossible. So I can't imagine them really catching back up unless a miracle happens for them, or if they do indeed pull off the the teamwork that it requires to do so. But even then, working as a unit of a team, it is still almost impossible. As there's the first man in, Napple into the pit, immediately picks up a speeding penalty into the pit lane, so that's going to absolutely scupper his chances of trying to take this win, because unless he has another pit stop, he will not be able to serve it. And that will mean he does then need to try and get a 5-second gap to the guys around him. However, he has gone for the undercut. So he's trying to look and see if he can break away from this leading pack. If he can, of course. But it's going to be still incredibly tricky to do so without the DRS aid of others around you. So he is within the DRS of Jordan behind Jordan, sorry. I wonder if they will be able to work together. They might be able to. It'll be, again, tricky and interesting to see how that pans out. But the front 6 has now turned into the front 5 as we have had our first pit stop of the race. Lap 12 it was, and still is. And we'll see if anyone blinks and comes in this lap as well. I think a few had the opportunity to go that lap, really, as Napple was the man sort of fighting for the lead between him and Theo. So people had the chance, but they decided not to, and I think that's, in my opinion, I think the strategy is correct for these guys here. Stick within the stick within the group as much as you can. As Napple has actually picked up a, I'd say picked up a time penalty. Of course he did. He sped in the pit lane. Yes, he's picked up a time penalty, but so has Paul. Paul has now sped into the pit lane. That's 5 seconds for the Ferrari man. ABS also picking up a penalty as we get a move for the lead. As BRT Aiden goes into the P1 corner. Goes into T1 and is P1, sorry. He's taken the lead back from Theo. He's waited a good number of laps to do so, but he's finally pounced and done it. And now we've got a front 4 for the lead at the moment. 4 different manufacturers, Haas, Williams, McLaren and Ferrari, all fighting it out for P1. Of course, we have had to pit from this front grid, from this front pack, sorry. You can see there, Paul has come out. He's come out nearly 2.5 seconds behind Napple in that pit stop, and that's just one lap. I'm just looking at the gaps, or trying to see the gaps down there. Yeah, he's about, looking at it, it's just over 2.5 seconds he's lost through one lap of Napple pitting in early. But he is going to have obviously older tyres at the end of this Grand Prix, so it could come to bite him later on in the race. We don't know yet. We're yet to see what happens with this strategy. I'm sure we'll see it, of course we'll see it unfold before our very eyes, but here we are. That's Liam Hartman, maybe looking to make a move, but I think Kieran's going to try and follow him through. That's his teammate Partick getting out the way of both of these drivers. That's a odd bit of strategy I've seen there. Not seen that one before. Maybe he'll of course get the DRS down this start-finish straight now. Maybe he's expecting to get the move done right back. They're going to go 3 wide down towards turn 1 though. The 2 teammates and TIR, maybe not 3 wide, it might just be 2, but the 2 teammates at Aston Martin. Liam Hartman's not giving this up though. He's going in side by side through turn 1 and 2. They're now side by side through the Curva Grande. Kieran's managed to pick up the position, take P7 quite comfortably for the moment. These 2 could now go side by side into the next chicane. 2 Aston Martins, they almost seem to be working together in doing this. Oh, he's gone over the curb a little bit. There's a bit of contact there. Partick's still able to keep it on the track and straight and narrow. That's good news for him. I think he'll be a bit mad about what Liam has just done. He's missing his apexes. There is Liam. This is going to be nice and simple for Partick. DRS wide open down towards Ascari. He'll have it done and done. Very easy for him there. Look at the gap now. Look, between Napple and Paul, 3.5 seconds. Napple has managed to pull out over Paul. And you do have to wonder and argue, he should have the lead of this Grand Prix by the time the rest of these guys have pitted in. As Theo having a little look for the lead, still filling the mirrors of that Haas car. As Thursday's now into the pits, that's why Kieran got promoted there. Liam Harmon not giving this up though from Parting. He's going to come back at him. They're going to go side by side into turn one. Have they given each other enough room? Yes, they have for the time being. Oh, a little bit of contact on the exit, but they've just about got away with it. Liam Harmon through then, back on AMS Parting. He'll take 7th place once again. Partic not giving it up though, down towards the second chicane. Is he going to be late on the brakes? Yes, he was, but I think maybe it wasn't late enough. And yeah, he just slotted in back behind Liam Hardman. And he'll have to settle for 8th position for the time being. Riding back on board then with the leaders. Batteries are still looking good for all of them. And the real question is, where is Napple and Paul going to come out in all of this, pitting some laps earlier than these guys out front? Anyone darting for the pits? Yes, they have. BRT Aiden darting for the pits. That'll promote Theo, Tonio and Justin up one. And now what I want to see, where's Napple going to come out in all of this? He's currently behind Partic. He's caught up rapidly to this battle of these two right now. He's going to have that inside line as they go over the start-finish line. Liam Hardman in. And here comes Napple. Has he got that DRS? Yes, he does. He should get this move then nice and easy. Aiden coming out of the pits now. Of course, Partic not having to give that position up. They are fighting legitimately for it. Crucially, though, Aiden 3.4 seconds is the gap. 3 seconds now is the gap. And crucially, doesn't have a penalty. So that really does put Napple and Paul on the back foot then with this, as Aiden has come out in between the two of them with no penalty. You'd argue it's his race to lose at this point. However, you still have the likes of Theo and Justin and Tonio Wright. They're all within a shout of taking the win here this evening, as they haven't pitted just yet, but neither of them have got any speed warnings, any 3-second time penalties to their name, or 5 seconds for that matter in Napple's case. So we'll see what happens when they do come into the pit. They just need to make sure they don't speed into the pit, lads. Here we go. There goes two. Theo and Justin in. Both of them safe. That's good to see. Antonio then, he'll finally get the chance of smelling the high life of P1 as he takes the lead of this Grand Prix. Lap 17, 10 to go. I wonder if he's thinking of putting softs on to the end stint of this Grand Prix, as Theo has actually done that, exactly that. Napple coming out ahead of all of them here, as Partic and Aiden are fighting there. Again, as I say, Partic legitimately up there in P4, hasn't pitted yet, so he doesn't have to give these positions up as easy as some of you might think, because he's not under blue flag. So he's there, he's willing to race, he can go racing should he choose to. Of course, his tyres are much older than those around him now, so going to be difficult to put up a fight, but I'm sure he will as best he can. The gap between Napple and Aiden there, 1.5. But Aiden's tyres, softer compound, 4 laps younger. So you do have to think and argue. Aiden should be able to get within the DRS then of Napple. He's pretty much there, just hovering over a second and probably just dipping under. Yeah, there it goes. But here goes the Ferrari and the Williams. The Williams down the inside. Oh, that's very desperate almost. Clashes with the Aston Martin, as Tonio picks up a penalty into the pits, not what he needed. That was very late on the brakes there for Theo. He just about got away with it, did the Williams driver, but my word, that was almost a collision, and that could have ended in tears for both the Aston Martin and the Williams there. He just, like I say, just got away with it, as Aiden sets the fastest lap. And when's Partic going to pit? He's losing time. Hammer over this now. He's still going to try and make it 2 or 3 wide into turn 1. He makes a lunge up the inside of Theo and actually pushes him off the track. I think that's almost payback, but don't condone it, of course. Really shouldn't be doing things like that. And he's going to pay the price with losing a lot of time there. But yeah, in all fairness, I think Theo was very naughty into the Ascari chicane. Yeah, he'll have that. I think Theo will have that removed, that 5 second there. But of course, he may get a different one for the move he made the last lap down towards the Ascari chicane. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we can see that Aiden actually making a move for the lead in towards Ascari. He has done. Takes the lead of the Grand Prix then, does Aiden. BRT firmly back on top. I don't think Thea will have that penalty removed though, however. So that one may be legit. Oh, this is going to get very confusing at the end. I think stewards are going to have a whale of a time when we do finish this Grand Prix. Look at the timing sheets, see who does what in terms of penalties. But the point here for BRT Aiden is he's back in the lead of this Grand Prix. No penalties to his name. And he's got a nice gap to the cars behind after Nappel. And Nappel obviously having a penalty himself. It's Theo making a move there. Back up into the podium spot, P3. Justin down to 4, and following him is Paul Antonio. Partick still not pitting in. He's now going to lose a place to Matteo here. And I think for he needs to pit in now, unless he's waiting for a safety car to happen. I don't know what Partick's plan here. He's still fighting side by side. Actually takes the position back from the Haas driver. Those 18 lap old hards must be screaming at him, begging to be taken off the car as he's practically being pushed around the Lesmos here by Matteo. Look at him, he's all over the gearbox. He should get a better exit. DRS will be an activation for him. This should be a nice easy move for the Haas driver. Yeah, before they even get into the braking zone. But Partick doesn't seem to be giving this up at any stretch. Every corner he seems to want to fight back and retake the positions he's losing. But ultimately, he does need to pit in. Cars are lining up behind him very, very quickly. They'll be on him at a rate of knots. He currently sits P8 then, of course, does Partick. As we do have a little bit of a group then formed up behind Theo for third. It's a four-way battle there. As we've got to move there further down the grid. Who's that? I think Partick finally pitting in. After 19 laps of being on those hard tyres, they've finally given up the ghost for him. He'll go to the softs. Yeah, I thought he would do so. It makes the most sense at this point. Only 7 laps really remaining at the end of this one. Not long to go now. As the McLaren there runs it deep, takes to the escape road. I think he'll get away with that. Yes, he will. Although I'm sure Paul will think, you know, you've gained an advantage by missing the chicane. Should really give that position to me, but I'm sure Tonio would have the argument of, well, you weren't close enough, you weren't going to make a move, so it doesn't matter. Down towards the Ascari chicane, quick flick left of the steering wheel, drop it a couple of gears through the long right-hander. By this point, you're already flat back on the throttle. And then powering your way down towards Parabolica. Justin then, he's actually gained a position now on Tonio. Has he? I'm not sure, but either way, he's currently P4, no penalties for him. So as it stands, he would actually take second on the road. Or not on the road, but he'll be second after the standings as Tonio lining up a move here. DRS in activation, gonna go for it. Yes, he has, into the braking zone. They're side by side. Tonio trying to put those tyres to better use. They make contact, Tonio's round. And the Ferraris hit his rear wheel, sent him spinning. And that does mean he might lose another one here. Matteo's coming through on Tonio right. Oh, he's not going to be happy with that. Not one bit is the McLaren driver. And I don't blame him in all honesty. It does mean, that does promote Matteo. He's back into 6th position. He's having a pretty good races, Matteo, after a very abysmal first stint. At one point, very much near the very back of the grid. I think he did drop to 11th, 12th. So he's had a good fight back, has Matteo here. And he is now currently sitting in P6. So he'll be, I think he'll be happy with that, all in all. Lucky for Justin, he's able to sit back onto the... Well, he's able to get onto the back of his teammate. His teammate's tyres are quite 4 laps older and of a harder compound. Yeah, I think he'd be... Yeah, maybe don't go for the move there, Justin. Maybe just wait it out 1 second. Get the DRS, pick it up down the start-finish straight and get the move done nice and easy, rather than make it difficult for yourself. There he goes, past his teammate, back into P4. Crucially, the cars in front are not that far down the road, as Theo trying his best to catch back up to Napple. He's doing pretty well. 2.4 is the gap, but Napple is being somewhat pulled along by Aiden in front. But for Justin, the gap there, just hovering around that 5-second mark between him and Napple. If he can get it down by a few more tenths, or at least half a second, I think half a second will make it easier for him, of course. Then he will take P2 in this race once penalties have been sorted and adjusted. And I'll tell you what, actually, maybe we should check who's got what. Theo's actually got 8 and Napple has got 5. So, Paul's got 8 as well. So, actually, don't count out Matteo for a podium. That would be absolutely insane. As Tonio, he's found himself 3-second time penalty. He's down in 8th now, bless him. He's dropping a bit like a stone in a lake. But, yeah, it wasn't really his fault, was it? So Justin may still pick up a penalty at the end of this race. Tonio's sitting in the slipstream, pulls out of it, has a little look as... Oh, that's a retirement. Oh, it's a safety car. We have a safety car. The Red Bull there of Jordan off at the second Lesmo. I don't know how or why, but he's off and we got a safety car. Well, all of the guys obviously that haven't been caught by it just yet will of course pit. The guys out front, the front three, they will of course come into the pits next time by. They haven't been picked up by that safety car yet, so they've got the chance to do so. It's not going to be a big problem. But what this does do, crucially, everybody with a penalty, they're now going to be closed back up to within a couple of tenths of each other. So anyone with those penalties, this is going to hamper them a lot. We've only got a few laps to go for when we get to the start-finish line. And it's going to be a sprint to the end. So do not switch this off, folks. We have got a sprint to the end of this Grand Prix. You will see lunges because everyone will think they can win it in one corner. And, well, being this late in the Grand Prix, you can potentially win it in one corner. Let's hope they don't take it too desperate or extreme, of course. But, yeah, this is about to get spicy. I can tell you that right now. There we go then. Front three into the pits, as I suspected. I'll tell you who might actually, looking at that, Kieran may actually do quite well here. His tyres are only 6 laps old. They can definitely still keep going. Of course, he has the penalty, but he has got now track position. He's up into P4, is AMS Kieran. So actually, do you know what? I don't think that's the stupidest decision, staying out if he does. But no, he's decided to pit in. Makes sense also. But it would have been quite interesting to see how well he could have done if he stayed out. But I think he would have ultimately been swallowed up by everybody if he did. They're all on brand new, fresh, soft compound tyres. Just in there. Is he in P3 or P4? I can't see where Theo is. No, he's definitely P3. Justin making a position there then over Theo. So he's up into P3 now. Matteo P5. And he's got a car in front of him as Theo with a penalty, so that could promote him. But actually, importantly there, look at that. Yeah, we've got some of those drivers now have lost their penalties. They've been able to serve them, so that does mean Napple now actually doesn't have a penalty to serve. So he's there on merit. He's there legitimately. This is a straight fight for the win then between the front three, especially Matteo for BRT. Still not out of this yet. And I wonder if Theo can argue removing his 3-second time penalty post-race. I don't know what he got it for, but he may want to argue that. I'm sure he will. Especially if he manages to put it on the front, on P1, come the checkered flag. Hello. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you're enjoying. We've got a safety car with 3 laps to go. So if it is not in this lap, which I don't think it is because it would have been called already, we will have it go green at the end of the next lap, and that will then mean we have a straight sprint to the checkered flag. Amazingly, Justin there, he's managed to, it says he's P2 now. I don't know how he's managed that one, but I don't think they're going to be able to let Napple back by without this being a problem. I don't know what they've managed to do. I sound like the real spokesman for Formula 1. Oh, thank you. I can tell you I'm not, but I do try and give it my best to make things sort of clear and precise, and I try to keep the voice sort of nicely like that as well. I'm glad you think I sound like the real deal. That's a nice compliment, that is, so thank you very much. But I'm not the real deal. However, I do like to try and give it my best every single chance I get, so thank you very much. I'll take the compliment either way. But either way, looking at Justin here for Ferrari then, ABS, Alien Motorsport. Oh, is it? No, it's not Alien Motorsport. Apologies, that's the Aston Martins. Alien Motorsport. They're so close, the acronyms that they have. But Justin there, he's gained 10 positions since the start of this Grand Prix. That's an insane start, especially here at Monza. It can be very tricky to overtake, especially within the trains that do end up forming around this circuit. So he's had an absolute belter of a race. Of course, it's not over yet. Safety car should be called in. Yep, there it is. Race control. Safety car on the track, as we did lose a driver not too long ago. A couple of laps ago, we've had a driver off into the barrier. Safety car was called. And it does this. It neutralises the field, brings them all close together. And now that the safety car has been called in, BRT Aiden there in the Haas car will take control of the pace of the field. And so when the safety car pulls into the pits, he can then decide when to release everybody, when he wants to go. Of course, he doesn't want to give a slipstream to any of the guys behind. I don't think we're going to get DRS in activation now for the rest of this race. And I think he may have already gone. He definitely has. Napple's been caught napping, and I think that has therefore had a bit of a knock-on effect to the rest of the grid behind. Crucially though, Justin's got a pretty good start, and he's going to get a pretty good jump on the guy out front. Some of the guys behind, Matteo looking very close to making a move on Theo in towards the chicane of turn 1. And we've had a move further back, side by side, go Sky and Paul there. And the Ferrari of Furzi is going to try and jump on through. Paul having a little bit of a mare at the exit of the chicane. He's lost a few positions, he's down now in 9th position is Paul. He's not going to be happy with the restart there. But equally, the guys out front holding station for the time being. Hugo, I just saw him pull out of the slipstream in towards the second chicane, having a little look, filling the mirrors of the guy in front, maybe trying to put him off somewhat by doing so, but he's looking very racy as we got this restart underway. And Aston Martin there, is that Kieran trying to get past that Ferrari of Paul? He's not had the restart he wanted at all. Crucially though, I've seen Napple, he's managed to pull well back within a second then. He must have used a fair bit of battery to do so, but he has managed to do so. Look at this, less than 3/10 separate the front 3 cars. The Haas, the Ferrari, the Alpine. This is going to be it. The fight for the win going to come down to this final lap of the Grand Prix. Who is going to take the checkered flag at the front? We'll have to wait and see. The Alpine, they've come together. The Ferrari and the Haas have come together. Napple's got a clear run for the win. It's all gone wrong at the back, and it's now getting very feisty between a lot of these guys. They're facing forward and moving once again, but that is absolutely devastating for the two of them. It's definitely going to be taken to the stewards room, but look at this, they're going 4-3 wide into the second chicane. The Ferrari, the Williams having to take the off-ramp. He'll slot back in, almost pushes the Haas off there though, of Matteo, not Matteo, of Aiden. He's having it all gone wrong now for him. The Ferrari about to be passed though by Furzi. He's got no front wing, he's doing incredibly well to keep it on the road at the moment. And somehow he is staying ahead. Aiden trying to get back past. Yes, he does so into the Ascaria chicane, of course. Gets the move done. Furzi going to try and fight it back. We still may have a move for second place. No battery left for any of these guys. Napple's going to have an easy run of things here up towards the line. I'm going to try and stick on board with the action as best I can. Napple's going to cross the line, take the win of the Grand Prix. Who's going to come next to cross it? That's going to be very close. Look at that further back. They're almost side by side as they cross the line. I can't even tell you. It's very much a photo finish. My word. That was absolutely fantastic there at the end. And I can't believe what we just witnessed. Shootout sprint to the end of the race. It's given Partick driver of the day. Unfortunately, there is not a second race. It will be back next week. And I'll give you the details of that in just a short moment. But Napple is going to happily take the win this evening. And, well, he didn't have much work to do for it as the other two competitors seemingly came together. And I'm sure stewards will be looking at that post-race. But for the time being, Napple will take the win of this Grand Prix for CPI and for Alpine. Congratulations to him. And he'll also put up the fastest lap just to bring it home all the same. Matteo manages to finish a brilliant P2 in the end. He dropped down to 12th after lap 1. So, you know what? Driver of the day, Matteo for BRT. That's my driver of the day. Well done to you, sir. Theo brings it home in third for Williams. And that's a good start then for the IRS Racing team, as that is their first race in this series. So well done to them. Justin will have to settle for fourth and Aidan fifth after their incident there at the start of the final lap. Brent somehow brings it home into P6. Liam Hardman 7th, Hugo 8th, Thursday 9th, IRS Skies 10th, and then we got 11 Kieran. Paul ends up finishing 12th, Partick 13th, Tyler 14th, Tony O'Wright somehow finishes 15th after all of that. And then we get the non-finishers of Jordan and Sornick, unfortunately unable to finish this Grand Prix. But yeah, apologies, Donald. Unfortunately, that is the race for this evening. We'll be back here same time next week, Fridays, 8 p.m. GMT. And let me get you what circuit we'll be heading to next for the Euro Titan Championship. Next week is going to be the Hungarian Grand Prix. There we are. Monaco without the barriers. Some do name it as. Yeah, 9th of February will be once again returning for Hungary. After that, following will be the French Grand Prix, the Chinese Grand Prix, and to round it all off on the 1st of March will be the Brazilian Grand Prix. And I'm sure that will be a fantastic finale to watch as well. But for now, yeah, that's all for me tonight. My name is Ashley. I hope you have very much enjoyed the race that has been put on for you this evening. And as I say, do return again, 8 p.m. GMT, same time next week for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Thank you very much and good night.